Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Creating Cards with Debbie. I want to welcome you here today, and I want to wish you a happy Labor Day holiday today. If you're not out having a good time on the lake or whatever, I'm glad that you're able to join me today. But if not, catch the replay and be sure that you comment when you come on and comment on the replay also. I go back and look at my messages and comments later. So today is September 1st, 2025, and it is Monday. Can you believe it's September already? Ugh, hard to imagine, but time flies when we're having fun. Okay, so let me get in with the um, news that we got going on. We've got Paper Pumpkin for our September Paper Pumpkin is called Fall for Toil or Toll. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And you got until September 10th to sign up for this Paper Pumpkin kit. It said it coordinates with the Autumn Toll Sweet Collection, which is in our new catalog coming out. And also, along with that, you can add the dies that go along with, that would be for, let's see, is it July, August, let's see. Yeah, July, August, and September Paper Pumpkin kits it coordinates with. And the kit for September, which I was just showing recently, it says that it designs elegant cards with metallic foil and rich autumn imagery. It makes 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs, and it has coordinating envelopes to go along with those. Metallic foil details and gross grain ribbon trim, pre-cut paper pieces and printed sentiment labels, and the classic Stampin' Spot that you get with this one is going to be the Cajun Craze. And like I said, it coordinates with the Autumn Toll Sweet Collection, which is number 165904. And you'll be able to purchase that starting Wednesday, September 3rd. Okay, let me go ahead and show you those. Well, I'll have to switch the camera to show it to you. So just look at the flyer here that I've got up on the screen. It says shop the coordinating add-ons. And these add-ons are item number 167277. And it's $12 for those dies. But you have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber in order to get those. Okay. So let's talk about World Card Making Day. It starts October 4th, and it says, craft with us for free. Join us. We celebrate our favorite time of the year with a free in-person event. And registration for this is free and begins at September 3rd. So that's also Wednesday. Lots of things going on Wednesday, September 3rd. It says, don't miss out on this opportunity. Okay, it includes everyone. It's the goal of this event is to help introduce new people to the crafting community at Stampin' Up. So registration opens September 3rd, 2025, which is Wednesday. And the last day to sign up for that would be October 3rd at 2 o'clock Mountain Time. All right. It says that they'll record the videos of the lives so you can watch it later if you're not able to be there at the time. And the time is going to be, the World Card Making Day is October 4th from 2 to 3 o'clock Mountain Time. And then it's recorded right after that. So you can catch it later if you can't be there live. The best part about this event is the opportunity to craft together with other crafters. This year, we're going to create cards using the handmade and heartfelt gift and all-inclusive product that comes with everything that you would need. It makes 10 lovely all-occasion cards. And that item number, if you want to purchase that, is 166213. It includes a stamp set, 10 cards and envelopes, a card a card organizer, shape labels, twine, glitter, adhesive, embellishments, a mini ink pad. And the ordering for that starts Wednesday, September 3rd. Okay, so if you have any questions, reach out to me and I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have. So I think that is all we've got going on, except that I want to remind you about getting your starter kit, Stampin' Up! Starter kit, which means that you pay $99 and that's free shipping on that. And you'll have some sales tax if your state has sales tax. So $99, you pick out $125 worth of products and you'll get your starter kit. And then after you receive your kit, you'll be able to put in your next orders and you'll receive a discount of at least 20%. So reach out to me, any questions. The link is in the description of this video also. You can just click on that and get more information. All right, we're going to be doing 3 fun fold cards today. Let me remove this. Bring me back up there so I can look at you better. Be sure that you comment when you come on. And let me bring up my comments here so I can watch as we go. Say hello, say where you're watching this from, and sit down, relax, or craft along with me, whichever you want to do. Okay, I didn't tell you where you can shop for these products at. Is going to be, let me put that scrolling across here. Okay, it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can shop any products that I'm using or any paper products you might be in need of. And that is www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. And if you want to email me about anything, my email address is creatingwithdebbie179@gmail.com. And that's also in the description of the video. So let me pull that back off of there. Okay, I think that's all I've got now. So let's get started with the program. That's what we're here for today. Like I said, we're going to be doing some fun fold cards today. All of them ended up being fun folds. So let me bring up my desk here. Get my right settings here. My settings right. Put you down to my desktop. And I'm going to be working on my lighting. I see a lot of shadows going on. I think maybe because it's a cloudy day today. I'm not sure what the reason is. But I see a lot of shadows on my desktop. Okay, so here's our first card. Let me get all of our goodies out here. We've done a lot of the prep work ahead of time, so it might not take us too long today. Okay, instructions. So here's our little fun fold card. And I am using the terrific Toadstools stamp set, and that's still available in our catalog. And also the punch. Okay, it comes as a bundle. You can get the punch and the stamp set. We're going to be using both of those today. And also, the designer series paper that goes along with that is in our last chance section of our store. And it was $12.50. It's marked down to $10. So look at all these cute little patterns. I won't go through all of them. But you get 48 sheets. Okay, so back to the card. It says popping up to say, and then on the inside, we're going to be using it as a gift card holder. We've got, I think I put my tape over too far, or this card's a little bit bigger. And happy birthday on the inside. And then I got a gift card inside. So be good for a birthday with a gift card. Popping up to say happy birthday. So let's go ahead and get started with this little fun fold. Let me move some things out of the way and make some room. bring all of our stamps over that we're going to be using. And I think that's all. Okay, this one here. All right. Let's get started here. Let's do the prep work here. I don't want to lose my pieces here. We're going to start out with our card base, which is our fresh freesia. And this is going to measure 4 1/4 inches by 10 inches. And then it's scored at 4 1/4 inches and 8 1/2 inches. So we're just going to burnish those score lines. And again, this one. And it's going to open this way. And then we've got our melon mambo, which is 5 3/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches. And that's going to go on the inside of our card like this. So let's go ahead and attach that. And I'm just going to put my glue on this layer here. Because as you can see, we're going to have some hanging over the side. We don't want glue on that part. And we'll press that down. Let me bring my comments back up here. There. So here it is so far. Kind of strange looking. All right, and then next we've got, okay, did I mark these? 2 different sizes here. Okay, that's that one. This inside basic weight is going to measure 3 7/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches. And it's going to go right at this side. And then we've got our designer series paper. We're using this side of it. It's got that on the other side. And this measures 1 1/4 inches by 3 7/8 inches. And that's going to go across this right side here. So let's go ahead and, well, I'm going to stamp on that first. In case I mess it up, I can change it. So we're going to stamp our happy birthday at the top of this white layer. And I'm just using my black Memento ink that I've put into my craft white pad. Okay, I'm going to stamp that right at the top. Centered. Okay, and now we can attach that. So I guess now we're getting into the burr months, the September, October, November. Okay, we're going to place that on the left side. Let's get that in the camera view. And then we're going to attach our designer series paper strip on the right side of that. And I'm going to leave a little border in between the two. It'll look like this so far. This is going to fold up and this is going to come back down over it. So let me go ahead and work on the front side. We've got our melon mambo again, and this measures okay, this measures 3 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And then we've got our basic white, which is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this to the front. And of course, my favorite adhesive is my Tombow glue. So that's what we're using. And I'm going to center this. It's going to have a little bit of a bigger edge going around it than what we normally do. It'll look like this. One's like that, like that. And then our basic white, I'm going to do some stamping on that before. Well, no, we're going to go ahead and I better do the stamping. I'm going to stamp Popping Up to Say Hi. Bring back our black memento. In case I mess up, I can turn it over. And we're probably going to do it kind of centered off to the left side. Okay. And we can close up that black memento so we don't have an accident with it. And this is going to go onto this layer. So we'll go ahead and attach that. Open that up so it lays flat. And we'll place that onto our Melon Mambo layer. Okay. And now we're going to do some stamping. This piece of basic white over here, and we're going to stamp our mushroom top using our Melon Mambo. And then we've got Granny Apple Green and Smoky Slate for the stem of the mushroom. So let's start out with the mushroom itself. The Melon Mambo. Close that one up. No matter how I try, I get ink on myself. Guess that's part of being a stamper. All right, and then we're going to do the stem with our Smoky Slate. And then I want 2 leaves. They're going to be the Granny Apple Green. And be sure that you like and share the video if you're watching on Facebook. And if you're watching me on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also click that little bell so you'll be notified when I go live. Okay, 2 leaves, 1 mushroom stem, and 1 mushroom top. Okay, and then we're going to bring our punch over here. And we're going to punch out that mushroom. Their punch. And you have to fussy cut the leaf and the stem, but I've done that ahead of time to save a little time today. So those are already cut out. Fussy cut. And the other one. So I'll save this for another card later. Okay, so now we can start assembling the front of our card. Well, I've got to add some things to that. Let's go ahead and add that so I know where to position it. I think I'm missing one. Let me see here. Did it get stuck somewhere else? No? So I've got a layer of the designer series paper, and this one measures 1 1/4 inches by 3 7/8 inches. And that's going to go across. No, that one's too big. We've got an even shorter one. Maybe 3 1/2 inches. Well, I've got my measurements wrong. And I need to grab my paper back over here so I can get another strip here. I think this is for the inside layer. Well, maybe I cut it and put it back in the package here. Is that it? Yep, that's it. We put it back in the package with our paper. Okay, so this measures 3 1/2 inches by 1 1/4 inches. And that's going to go across the bottom of this, the front of our card. It wouldn't be alive without not having at least one goof up here, so you're right on track here. Okay, and that's going to go at the bottom of that white layer, right under our Poppin' Up. This is for the inside. All right, and then we're going to start working on layering our mushroom. And this is going to be attached to our bottom of our mushroom with just some glue. Or you could use a mini glue dot if you'd prefer. I've got glue on that, so I'm going to add some of that to my leaves. And my silicone mat is right here. We'll place our mushroom stem onto our mushroom, like so. And then my original, I popped it up, but I think I'm just going to pop up the mushroom part of it. So let me grab my Stampin' Dimensionals, and we'll add a couple of those to our mushroom. And then the bottom of the mushroom, the stem, I'm just going to put glue down on that. So just the top part that's popped up. And add this to the right side of our sentiment. And then I'm going to put our leaves up underneath there. Lift that up a moment. I want to get that up underneath there more, so I'm not covering up my sentiment. There. And then the other one can go on the other side. We'll just add our adhesive to the back of that leaf. And I'm going to place that down here next to the stem. And then next we want to add a strip of the designer series paper. That's the back side of that one. And this is going to go right across that edge. And I'm going to cut the ends of it a little bit. It should be, what is it? 3 3/4 inches. I'm going to put that across the center of here. And then I'm going to just flag the ends of it. Both sides. Just cutting up the center, and then we'll snip those off each side. And that's going to go across here. I don't think I put that in dimensionals. No, I just glued it directly down. So I'll glue on the back of that. And I'm just putting it even with the top of that designer series paper, the top of it. And let's go ahead and finish the inside. We're going to place this designer series paper there. And this one measures 1 3/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches. We'll go on that flap, inside flap. Place that down. And then we're going to come back with our parent tape. We're going to make our little pocket. I think this is a 1/8 inch tear and tape that I'm using. And just a tiny strip on each side of that flap. And we'll grab our take your pick tool to lift off those backings. All right, and we'll fold this back up so it attaches to each side. Give it a little press. And there's our pocket. And let me get my gift card out here. And that one fits better. I used the skinny tear and tape this time instead of the thicker on the other one. So, okay, but we're not quite done yet. We're going to add some blings to this card. And I am using, these are the purple fine shimmer gems. It's got 2 shades of purple. And I take your pick tool. We'll use the putty side. And I'm going to grab some of those and dollop this card a little bit. I think I'm going to go with a lighter purple. So I'm going to start out with our large. And I'm going to put a couple up here. And then we'll use the small ones. And we'll put one on our little strip there that's flagged at each corner. And why not put one in the middle? We're going to put a larger one in the middle because we want odd numbers. So we've got 5 here. And we've got 2 and then 3 more makes 5. Okay. So here's our first card. You could add some ribbon to this if you wanted to, but I didn't want to clutter it too much. So it's popping up to say hi. Happy birthday. So that's our first fun fold card. Let me straighten up a little bit here and we'll get on to our second one. I'll put my instructions over there so I have them for later so I can put this in my blog. All right, and card number 2 is going to be a Halloween fun fold card. So let me straighten up a bit, make some room here. And we'll get our bits and pieces out here. Okay, so here's our card. No tricks, all treats, and that's heat embossed with white embossing powder. And Happy Halloween on the inside, which is embossed with white embossing powder also onto black cardstock. Okay. Now what we're doing with this one is going to be using we are using the stamp set, and we're not using the dies on this one. So it's only the stamp set that we're using, which is a Spooky Halloween. And these are an online exclusive item. So we're using the designer series paper, which I haven't gotten out here yet. And it's got different things in here. We've got our punch outs, and we're going to be using the hippo punch out, and also some of these labels here. And here's the paper, so you can kind of get a glimpse of that. Maybe I can position it right here. And these aren't the spooky Halloween. These are the cutesy Halloween, so I don't mind these. Some more banners. So that's the paper we're using and the stamp set. So let's get started here. We're going to start out with our card base, which measures, it's basic black, it's 5.5 inches by 7 inches, and then it's scored at 2 3/4 inches. So I've already done that scoring, so I'm just going to fold this back and burnish that. And misplace my bone folder. And of course, I'm doing a live. My husband's mowing again, so that's his normal thing to do, I guess, when I go live. So we're going to be opening our card this way. So the flap's going to be on the top. And then next, we've got things falling here out of the way. All my bits and pieces out here so I don't lose them. Punch outs. Okay, I think I've got it all out here. The inside layer is going to be our basic white, and that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. It'll go on the inside. And then our designer series paper, we've got 2 strips here, one which measures 1.5 inches by 5 1/4 inches. That's going to go at our bottom flap here. And at the top of the flap is going to be 1 inch by 5 1/4 inches. So it's just the back side of that one. So I'm going to go ahead and attach those down. Open this up so I get them straight. Lots of good things coming out Wednesday, so you might want to check out the store. There's a lot of online exclusives that are in there that are new that won't be in the book. So you might want to check those out. And I appreciate your business if you shopped with me. If you don't have a demonstrator of your own, I'd love to earn your business. Okay, this one's going to go at the top of that one. For some reason it looked crooked, but we're going to straighten that out with our ribbon. And then I'm going to grab my tear and tape, and we're going to run a strip of that across the seam to be able to hold the ribbon down. Thank you, Cynthia. Glad you're here. Welcome. If you missed the first card, you can go back and watch the replay when we're finished. We're working on the card number 2. I'm doing 3 fun folds today. Okay, turn that off. And I take your pick tool to grab adhesive off of there. And the ribbon that we're using is going to be another online exclusive. This is the Petunia Pop iridescent ribbon. It's very pretty and very pliable. It's kind of got two tones, one side shinier than the other side. I don't think the camera's picking that up very good. You can see a little glitz there. So that's going to be across that center. So it's probably, what is that, 5.5 inches maybe, give or take. We just want it to go across that fold there, or that seam. I'm trying to figure out which side I want to use. I think I'm going to use this side. So place that down onto our tear and tape. Okay, I want to ribbon scissors and trim this one back a little bit. Doesn't need to hang off the side of the card. Get a hold of it here. There. And you can shred those ends of that ribbon too. Kind of makes it look good too. I like that look. So just take your pokey tool and pull the threads out of there. Just shred it at the ends. All right. So we're going to set that aside. We're going to add our little tag here. I've got a basic black which measures 2 1/8 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And then I've cut out one of those little tags. And I guess I probably cut it at about 2 inches by 3.5 inches. So that's going to go on top of that black layer. So I made the paper do most of the work today. So all right. And then I'm going to place dimensionals on the back of that, but I'm going to kind of do a dry fit here to see where I want it to lay, and I don't want to go past this area. So I'm going to hold my fingers right there, and we're going to put our Stampin' dimensionals on there, just at that top area. We don't want to glue the card shut. And maybe one in the center to hold that. And I'm going to grab my take a pick tool to grab those backings off of those dimensionals. When you don't have any fingernails, the take your pick tool works great. Well, yeah. And I've got a little dish over here that I'm putting my backings into, so I don't have to throw them on the floor. All right, and this is going to be placed onto the right side. And I'm going to come down just a little bit. All right, make sure that's not sticking over the back side. Got that. And I've already punched out our little hippo here, our little girl. I guess it's a girl. And I'm going to place that down onto this label. You could put her up on dimensionals if you wanted to, but I figure I've got enough dimensionals on there. If I want to mail this card, it won't be so much of a problem, the thickness. But if you wanted to hand deliver it, you could pop her up also. All right, and then on the inside, we're going to put that on the inside. This is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, basic white. So let's center that. And I think I've got my basic white a little bit too long. Did I do something wrong here? It's 5 1/2. Yeah, it should have been cut down to 5 1/4, but we're going to go with it. We'll just have it go from side to side, which is okay. So close like that. And then we're going to add our little pumpkin with the scarecrow, or the crow, onto that bottom left corner. All right, now we're going to do some heat embossing, which I've already done that ahead of time, so I'm going to save a little bit of this. Well, no, I've still got to do some embossing. I didn't finish it. So let me bring my heat gun over here. I don't know if I can reach it. I think I can. All right, we've got our heat tool. We've got our basic white embossing powder. We've got our Versamark, a little brush, reverse tweezers. And then we've got our embossing buddy, which we're going to use that to get rid of any static cling. So I'm going to just rub that across my basic black cardstock, just to get rid of any oils or static cling that I might have on my cardstock. I'm just going to wipe out my tray a little bit. I have any dirt in there I don't want to mix with my embossing powder. All right. So we're going to come back with our Versamark ink, and we're going to stamp Happy Halloween with our Versamark, and then we'll heat emboss it with our white embossing powder. And I want to make sure I've got enough Versamark on there, so I do it a couple of times to make sure. And I think we can fit this onto this little strip of black cardstock without any problem. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks good. All right. And we're going to stamp No Tricks, Just Treats on the other side. All right. Close these all up before we have powder flying into it. Get our white embossing powder out here. And we'll put a generous amount on there. I like to make sure I've got plenty of embossing powder on there. And okay, looks good. We're just going to set our tray aside for now, and I'll take care of that later. Put the lid back on our powder. I'll bring our heat tool over here. Heat emboss that. So it takes a moment for your heat gun to warm up to the temperature it needs to be. I'm going to let that run for just a little bit. Got a little smudge in there. I wonder if I can get that off. Okay. Starting to heat up. All right, now it's doing its magic. The camera's catching that. It never gets tiring. Heat embossing, it always amazes me. I should be using my tweezers. My fingers are getting a little warm. All right, so that's done. Put that away. And then we're going to just fussy cut these out. Get my paper snips. And first we're going to do the front side. No tricks, all treats. And that's just basically cutting around the edge. And we'll cut those in two to separate them. I'm going to trim this up just a little bit. Okay, all treats, no tricks. Or no tricks, no treats. Or all treats. All right, then our Happy Halloween, we're going to fussy cut that out also. So I want to kind of go around my letters a little bit to give it a little shape, not just a straight cut. And we're not cutting these words apart, we're leaving them together. All right. And we'll bring our card back over here and we'll attach those. So I'm going to go no tricks right there, all treats at the bottom of that. Drop suits today. No tricks, all treats. And then we'll put our Happy Halloween on the inside. Upper right-hand corner. Press it down so it takes a hold. Okay, so now we're going to add some bling. And I'm using the Shimmer Star foam stickers. And these are non-line exclusive also. And I'm going to use the purple. So I'm going to use the pointy end of my Take Your Pick tool to pick these up with. And grab the larger purple stars. And I'm going to place them at the top. And I'm going to place another one, a small purple one, at the bottom corner of our pumpkin, the scarecrow, or the crow. I don't want to call it a scarecrow. It's a crow. Okay, so here's card number 2. No tricks, all treats. And then the inside says Happy Halloween. It's got our pumpkin with our crow sitting on it. So that's card 2, fun folds. Let me pick up a little bit here and we'll get on to our third card. And our third card is going to be a fall card, which is coming up on fall now. A little straighten here. Make room. And I forgot to mute my notifications. I apologize. This one, we're going to be using a brand new stamp set that's coming out starting Wednesday. And this is an online exclusive. It's called Artistic Leaves. It doesn't have any dies that go along with it. It's just a stamp set, a standalone. So this is pretty. I like the sentiments in it. It says, "Hello, sweet friend, grateful for you, and celebrate today." And it's got the two-step stamp for the leaves. So we're going to be using that today on this card. And then here's the card. Another fun fold. Celebrate today. And then on the inside, we've got "Hello, sweet friend." So get that together here. And we're using the a new designer series paper also that's coming with that. And this is an online exclusive also. Trying to get my cheat sheet out here so I can show you without taking up so much room. It says "Gathering Together." It's the 12 by 12. And like I said, this starts Wednesday, September 3rd. So very pretty patterns. This is the front side, the back side. It's got the foil on the one side. And there's some more here. So today we're using this pattern right here. I'm not using the foil side. This has got the foil on it. This one doesn't. All right. So we're going to start out with our early espresso as our card base. And that measures 5.5 inches by 7.5 inches. And then it's scored at 4 1/4 inches. So we're going to just fold that over and burnish that fold line. And it's going to be opening this way. So you're going to have a shorter front flap. All right. And then we've got our basic black. Get those layers out here. We've got two different ones. Front flap is going to measure 3 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Our designer series paper is going to go on top of that, and that measures 2 7/8 inches by 5 1/8 inches, and it's just going to mat onto that basic black. So we're going to go ahead and attach that. We've got it here. See how pretty the back side is too with that foil. I don't know if the foil is really showing up. There it is, a little glimpse of it. Hi, Kimberly. Yeah, you'll have to go back and catch from the beginning once we're done here. So we're doing all fun folds today. And yes, I love these cards, these stamps, the new ones that are coming out. I can't wait for everybody to be able to get their hands on them. And like I said, if you don't have a demonstrator that you're working with, I'd love to earn your business. So my website or my store web address is on the description of the video. All right, we're going to go ahead and attach this to that front flap. Forget what I'm doing here. And I'm going to open this so I can get it on there straight. It's kind of hard to see dark on dark. And then we're cloudy here in Arkansas today, so that doesn't help my lighting any. So I apologize for that. Yes, I think fun folds are my favorite too. And I didn't realize I had all 3 fun folds this time until I started putting them together. And oh, okay. It's going to be a fun fold Monday. All right, so then we've got our two-tone cardstock, which this is our Timid Tiger. I've got 2 of those. One's for the inside. The inside layer is going to be 2 5/8 inches by 4 3/4 inches, and that's just going to go onto this edge here. But our front one is going to be 3 inches by 4 inches, and I'm going to tear off the left side. So this is two-tone. It's got one side's lighter than the other side. So I'm just going to tear off the edge of that, and I'm pulling towards myself so I get some of that white edge showing. Oops, it came off before I wanted it to, but we'll just go ahead and pull it again. All right, there we go. This is going to go on to the left side. So first I'm going to do our stamping on there before I do any attaching. And let me get my right stamps here. Celebrate today. We're going to do that using our black Memento ink. Or you could use Early Espresso. Did I use Early Espresso? No. I just used my black Memento, which I put into a craft white pad. And we're going to stamp that 5 times down this edge. So I'm going to keep it off to the right side. And do the top of the bottom first, and then I can space them easier. And the center. All right, there's that. We'll put the black ink away. And then we're going to come back in with our Cajun Craze ink pad. And we'll do some splattering. And I'm going to grab a scrap of paper so I can stamp off and keep my work surface kind of clean here. And this is just the little dots that we're using. That's in that same stamp set. I'm going to stamp that off just to lighten it a bit. And I'm going to alternate my stamp. Motorcycles going by with their radios blasting. I'm sure they can hear them when they're riding the motorcycle. Can they hear the radio? I don't know. All right, I think that's enough on there of those. Close up our, well, might as well leave that open. We're going to be stamping some leaves here. And I just stick my fingers in the ink. All right, we're going to attach that to the side of our flap. And I'm going to put it at an angle. So I don't want any glue at this little edge here that hangs over. So I'm going to hold my fingers there. And I'm just going to add some glue to the back side of this to attach it. And place that at an angle. Place that down. No glue on the back side. That's good. So it's going to look like this so far. All right. And I guess we could go ahead and do the inside. We can attach that. So I'm going to put Hello Sweet Friend. But we've got a skinny paper here. So I'm going to have to angle that. So I'm going to use our black Memento ink again. What's the weather like in Indiana, Kimberly? We're having a cloudy day today. We're not supposed to get any rain. I think it's only like 20% chance. So I don't think we're going to get any rain, but it's cloudy, which is okay. It kind of keeps it cool. And we've got a cool front coming in this next week, I guess. So it's going to be a change of weather. Cool us down a bit. We had been in the 90s, so it's going to be quite a change. All right, so we've got the Hello Sweet Friend stamped there. And now I'm going to grab our leaves. And like I said, it's a 2-step stamp. So I'm going to start with the colored in area, and then I'll go to the detailed afterwards. So we're going to stamp our leaf image. And I'm just going to do a little bit of it on the bottom right-hand corner of this inside strip. So, and then we're going to do the detailed layer on top of that. So I'm going to match up my leaves here, hopefully. And with the photopolymer, you can see through it, so that helps you line up things easier. And that's not too bad. I was off just a tiny bit. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. All right, and then we've got another layer of the basic black here somewhere. Oh, come here. Oh, didn't I? I thought I did. Guess I don't. And I've got an extra piece of cardstock here. Where did that come from? I don't really know. Okay, I've got a basic black layer, which measures 3 inches or 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. That's going to go on the inside of our card. So we're going to attach that. See, it's been a few days since I did this card. I kind of forgot how I did it. It's jogging my memory here. Oh, yeah, it could be Kimberly. Probably getting in their last good ride for the season, probably. They got to do all the getting's good. All right, so lay that on the inside. And now we can take that other layer that we've stamped already, and it's going to go to the left side of that so that the flap will cover that when it's closed. And place that down inside of our card. And I'm keeping it to the left side. We don't want that showing when the front flap is closed. So see, it's hidden. All right, so set that aside. We're going to stamp our leaf. And I don't have any basic white here. I think I used scrap I wasn't supposed to. So let me grab a basic white scrap. Get one that's big enough here. Well, that's lots of scrap. I just gotta find one that's big enough. Or maybe I'll just go ahead and cut one. I have one in here yet. Nope. We'll just grab a new basic white sheet cardstock and we'll stamp our leaf on there. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to use the Cajun Craze for the inside image. Yeah, I like summer, but the cooler temperatures are good sometimes, I guess. I'm kind of strange. I like summer. I argue with my kids all the time. They probably think I'm crazy, but when you get older, you don't like the cold either. So we're never satisfied, I guess. Okay, now I'm doing the inside image with the Cajun Craze also, and then we're going to stamp onto that inside image. And the color will lighten after it dries a little bit. It looks kind of dark at first, but it gets lighter after it dries. Close that up. And then we're going to fussy cut that. And I've already fussy cut it already. See how much lighter it is after it's dried for a while? Quite a bit of difference. All right, and we're going to place that up on dimensionals. So I'll bring those big sheet of dimensionals back over here. I got this large sheet of dimensionals that came in one of my paper pumpkin kits. So I'm using that up. It's the same as our regular ones, except it's a bigger sheet, which it is pretty large. It's probably, 5 inches by 5 inches. So it is quite a bit bigger. Should last me a while. All right, now we're going to take your pick tool to pop off those backings of the dimensionals. Yeah, put them in my little dish there so they don't end up on the floor. And we're going to place our leaf over that two-tone paper, and I'm going to kind of put it at an angle. And then we want to add a double bow that I've made of our linen thread. It's going to go at the bottom of that leaf. And I'm going to use some of my paper pumpkin kit mini dimensionals or mini glue dots. I think they're smaller than what the regular mini glue dots are. So I like them to use when I'm using my linen threads. Okay, we'll place that right on that stem at the bottom. And then I've got some bling that we're going to use. It's the 2025 to 2027 in color flat pearls. And I'm going to be using the Timid Tiger color here. Let me bring those out. And I'll take your pick tool. And I'm going to be using the Timid Tiger. So I'm going to start out with the large one. And we'll place that right here. And then we're going to go with the medium size. Put that right above there. And a small one we'll put maybe right there. I like to do odd numbers. I usually do 3s. Sometimes 5s, but usually 3s. Okay, so there's our card. Celebrate today, celebrate today. And like I said, I stamped that 5 times. And on the inside, hello, sweet friend. Nice fall card, don't you think? Yeah, I bet it does, Kimberly. I came from Minnesota. That's where I was born and raised. I don't miss the cold up there anymore. Our winters here in Arkansas aren't too bad. We probably average about 50 degrees. But we've had some Christmases where it's been hot, where we've been in the 70s and 80s. So it kind of varies. We never know what each year is going to be like. So, but I like the milder winters down here better. The old bones just can't handle that cold too much anymore. All right, so I'm going to put our cards all up here that we did today. And like I said, if you missed the beginning, go back and watch from the beginning on the replay. And I'd appreciate if you shared with your friends. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and then you'll be notified when I go live each week. I do at least one video a week, so it's usually Monday mornings. And I was doing 10:30 Central Time, and I've changed it to 10 o'clock Central Time. That kind of gives me more time in the mornings to get it going, or less time, I should say, but I get done sooner. It's not usually so late. All right, so here's our 3 cards today. We did good today, just a tiny bit over an hour. So our first one was popping up to say hi, and this was a gift card holder. So popping up to say hi, and then happy birthday, and then I've got a gift card on the inside of there for a birthday present. So that was our first fun fold. And then no tricks, all treats. Happy Halloween was our second one. And then our fall card, celebrate today. Hello, sweet friend was our third fun fold. So I hope you enjoyed those today. And I look forward to seeing you next week, hopefully. And y'all have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your holiday today. If you're doing anything, have fun, stay safe. But if you're not and you're just relaxing, enjoy your day and hopefully you get some crafting time in there. It's always good for the soul. I call my craft room my happy place. Pretty much is, yeah. I enjoy my time in here. My husband sits in front of the TV and I sit up here in my craft room. All right. So until next week, y'all have a good time and stay safe, stay healthy. And thank you for being here. Bye bye.